Hello, good morning. This is Lauro here, and I'm going to present my seminar. It's a little bit weird to do it on camera, but here we go. My group's on Hamlet, and the name of the work is Hamlet: Elements of Battles and Its Outcomes. We decided to divide. The group is composed by Edmilson, Jhonathas, and me. And we decided to divide the work in three main themes. We had psychological battles in the play, the physical battles in the play, and their consequences. And I got the psychological part. So we're going to deal with the psyche and everything that involves the mind as in opposition to the body. So we'll not be talking about physical here, only the mind processes in the play. So I chose to work 5 main moments of the play that I chose to have the most impact in psychologically speaking in the play, and the first one is the ghost. So he was a main point to the play because it's kind of the trigger to the process of the revenge. So since his first apparition, he became the trigger to the process of revenge, you see, because without the ghost showing up, we wouldn't have the whole plot developing. And it all starts when the ghost of the deceased King Hamlet appears to Hamlet and reveals who has killed him. In addition, the ghost eagers for vengeance and convinces Hamlet to do so. Revenge his full and most unnatural murder. So I'm gonna read the modern text of this dialogue that the ghost had with Hamlet in the modern version. So the ghost instigates Hamlet to the revenge process. That's why I chose it to be in here. So the ghost says, "I'm glad you're eager. You'd have to be as lazy as weed on the shores of Lethe not to get reeled up here. Now listen, Hamlet, everyone was told that a poisonous snake bit me when I was sleeping in the orchard. But in fact, that's a lie. That fooled everyone in Denmark. You should know, my noble son, the real snake that stung your father is now wearing his crown." So here the ghost unravels that who killed Hamlet's father was his uncle that is now wearing the previous king crown, you see. And we move to the second point of the psychological battles, that is the relation that Hamlet has with her mom Gertrude and Claudius, his uncle. So the relation was pretty much how can I say, it was difficult already because Hamlet was so mad that his mother got married so quickly right after his father's death. So it already was difficult, the relation, and the unraveling of who killed Hamlet's father made it even more difficult, you see. So a quote by Knowles Holland: "Hamlet's father's death his mother concupiscence and hasty marriage to her husband murderer produce a grief and loathing of such a profound degree that a sense of being created by emotion estranges him from the previous identity of a princely whole. So that relation combined with the revelation of the assassination, it even rhymed, made Hamlet really mad, really anguished about the whole situation. So he was astonished to know the truth and got even more mad with the information and started to see his mom as a villain and incestuous villain, so as his uncle that was compared to a beast by the ghost. And he was very much, I would say he was even madder, he was more upset with his mom than with his uncle, because he couldn't stand that she was getting married so fast, that she couldn't deny her sexual drive, and married his own uncle. It gets really troublesome throughout the story, because Hamlet tries to convince her not to sleep with her uncle anymore, because he can bear to see that situation. It upsets more, to me, it upsets more that betrayal than the usurpation of the crown itself. So I think it was even more difficult than see the crown taken by his uncle. This relation with her mom and his uncle. So moving to the third point, is the relation with the relation of Hamlet and Ophelia. You see, the main point that is very discussed is if there was love in the relation, and we have arguments on both ways. I believe that there was love, and I believe that would be a very good debate in class about this issue, if there was or not love in the relation of Hamlet and Ophelia. And I chose two quotations of the work in order to prove my point that there was love. And I'm going to read also in the modern English, because it's easier. So at that point that I'm going to read is a moment that Polonius, Ophelia's father, read a love letter written by Hamlet, and that was supposed to be written by Hamlet to Ophelia. So the letter says, "You may wonder if the stars are fire, you may wonder if the sun moves across the sky, you may wonder if the truth is a liar, but never wonder if I love." So that's really deep, and I chose this to prove that Hamlet loves Ophelia. Another point is right at, jumping a little bit on the story plot, right when Ophelia dies. So in order for you not to be lost in the plot of the story, we have a summary right at the beginning of the presentation that we will be sending you with the slides. Then it will be easier to understand our analysis. So jumping at the end, almost at the end of the play, Ophelia has committed suicide, and then Hamlet says, "I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum." So he's right there with Laertes, and they fight at their grave. And Hamlet said that he would his love, everything that light is like would do to mourn her death, he would do more. Like if it was a competition to show, to prove who loved more Ophelia, and I think he loved her. So all these points are intertwined in their story, and as we go on, I'll try to connect them. So the fourth point is madness. Madness is, among with revenge, I guess, one of the most important themes of the play. I'm back. I'm sorry I had to pause the video because I got a little bit of sore throat and I had to drink some water. So the fourth point of the analysis is madness, and as I was saying, with revenge, I think it's one of the most important themes in the play, because it kind of goes all the way back and forth on the play, and we can cite the madness in two of the characters of the play, being Hamlet and Ophelia. I'll start with Hamlet's madness. So I could observe Hamlet's madness in some moments. So the first one would be by the ghost, because at the very first appearance of the ghost, the soldiers can see, the others that are around him can see, but only him can listen. So it could be already a sign of madness there, that he's a little bit schizophrenic. And moving on, we have the relation with his mom and uncle that became pretty unbearable after the ghost revelation, and gives him that feeling of anguish, and he even wanders about suicide. And it makes me remember of Lucas' presentation here, and the existentialism starts to kick in, and he gets really anguish about his life, and start thinking about committing suicide. So it's really strong what happened there in his life. And another point that would convey to the presence of love to Ophelia is that he gets really mad right after Ophelia's father convinces her that Hamlet is not keen to marry her. He's just kind of seducing her, and by being a prince he would have some restraints about who he would marry. So Ophelia's father convinces her not to see Hamlet anymore, and right after that prohibition he gets really mad, and for me it was a proof that he loved her, in addition to the scene that she dies and he goes there to the grave and stuff. And then we have Ophelia's madness that also happens in the play. So the main point that led to her madness was the death of his father that was killed by Hamlet, see. And she was very subservient to the man, to his father, to her father and her brother. So once her father dies, she sees herself with no support. And I've read some articles that states that the cause of her madness is because she's surrounded by powerful men, and when she loses her father, she doesn't know what to do. And I'm back to Lucas' presentation. So she has the freedom and she doesn't know how to use it, and it kicks in her head, and makes her go mad. And going to the final point that I chose for this presentation is the mousetrap play. So the mousetrap play is a way that Hamlet chose to either prove his uncle guilty, or prove that the ghost he was seeing was like a work of the devil that was like in his shoulder telling him to do bad things. So there were some actors in the castle, and he convinces the actors to act a play, and he wrote some lines in the play, and the name is Mousetrap. And there's a dialogue that is really cool with Claudius and Hamlet about when Hamlet is explaining about the play. So I'll read for you here. Claudius asks, what's the name of the play? Let me find it here, the modern text. Yes, and then Hamlet says, the mousetrap, why on earth is it called that, you ask? It's a metaphor. This play is about a murder committed in Vienna. Gonzago is the duke's name, and his wife is Batista. You'll see soon enough. It's a piece of garbage, but who cares? And I have free souls, so it doesn't concern us. Anyway, I have free souls, so it doesn't concern us. Let the guilty wins. We can watch without being bothered. And then he also says, a little bit later, at the play, just let me find it again because it's on the next page. He poisons the king in his own garden to get the kingdoms for himself. The king's name is Gonzago. The original story was written in the finest Italian. You see shortly how the murderer wins the love of Gonzago's wife. So it's pretty much what happened to Hamlet's father, and what's happening in the plot of the story. And he gets what he wanted right after. The king's reaction is to leave immediately and then to pray for forgiveness for killing his brother. And it leads to another psychological issue because Hamlet is going to kill him right away, but decided not to because the Claudius is praying, and then he believes that his soul would go to hell, would go to heaven because he's praying, and Hamlet wanted it to go to hell. So he chose not to kill at the moment, and we have the Christianism there, the Christianity, and then we have the angers that he was facing. So I chose this as one of the main topics too, because I think it's very important in a psychological matter. And it's pretty much it. That's what I chose for the seminar. I hope you've enjoyed it, and that's it.